Hello and welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli with you on this. It's Thursday, right? That means we get to drink cocktails after the show.
Woo.
That's cool. It kind of feels like a Friday. I was hoping it was a Friday, but it is in fact Thursday, Renee. Welcome into everybody. Tyler, if you can scroll up, see who won the game today. I saw a couple people waiting earlier.
See, I think we've our chat has messed this game up because apparently it's been Chris for a little bit, and our first comment says it's Matt Deckard.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I don't know anymore.
Controversy.
Actually, I am on YouTube right now, and you're right. So what we see is different than what I see on YouTube right now.
Okay.
It is Chris who's number one, saying,
Chris
wow, love
Slemmer.
me some LA. He's the best storyteller for sure. And then Ray was second, and then CMC, and then Matt Deckard. So conspiracy theory, guys, because we're seeing a different chat. But
YouTube is shadow banning
what's
you
up,
guys.
y'all? Yeah. That's
So welcome
weird.
in. Happy Thursday to all. Hit that thumbs up button while you're
Happy
in
Friday
here.
Eve.
Some may call it that, I guess. But welcome in. Looking forward to today. We have one of the absolute baseball gems of Philadelphia joining the program in Larry Andersen. I used to produce Phillies baseball back in the day on the radio, and having the honor of working with Fransky in LA is a highlight of the career because those two are the absolute best. Like when you think of radio, play-by-play baseball guys, those two to me are just, they're perfect. I think Scott Fransky is just one of the absolute best. And then when you have LA's passion on top of his storytelling, on top of knowing everyone in the game, it's the perfect complement to one another. So really excited to talk to LA today.
I see in the chat, everyone's excited too. Spiral Out, Will, you guys are talking about how excited you are. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Cordisco, actually, I think is how you say your last name. My apologies. You're talking about how LA feels about Game 6 and 7. Listen, you guys are already bringing questions. Mopar, Scott, everyone's excited. And CMC, shout out to you. Glad your son's feeling better and back in preschool after battling the flu.
Oh, yeah, we had a little 24-hour bug rip through the Lynch house. I think I avoided it like Neo in The Matrix. But my wife is a high school teacher in the city here, and she said it's been going around her school, and it's just that quick 24-hour, pukey bug going around.
I'll pop some airbornes and extra vitamins.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I'm gonna combat it with vodka.
You got to be ready. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you got to be ready.
It's like you clean your hands with like rubbing alcohol sometimes, right? It's like I would clean my innards with vodka.
Vodka alcohol.
Isn't that what the doctors suggest?
I have heard that alcohol is cleansing. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, I just went to a pasta class last Saturday, and the woman was telling us about this special blend of Italian wine that's considered heart scrubbers because it actually cleans the portals of your heart.
Now
because
we're
it's such a
talking
hearty
wine, though. I would say like a red wine, a glass of red wine a day also keeps the doctor away. They didn't tell us that when we were learning about apples. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of health benefits.
Yeah.
So,
it is National Margarita Day, Mickey said. There you go.
Ooh.
You have to drink a margarita today. If it's
Tyler
National
gives
Margarita
thumb
Day.
down to the margarita.
Yeah, I'm not a tequila guy. Me and tequila are not friends.
Yeah.
You and tequila are definitely
Well, one
not
day
friends.
on our Phillies Cocktail Club, I will do my lazy man tequila hack, which I will teach you about. It involves limeade and jalapenos.
Open the bottle and drink it.
Nah.
Lazy man tequila.
That's how I used to drink tequila,
PHLY.
straight from the bottle.
Little orange juice squeeze in it with the limeade and jalapenos. It's delightful.
That sounds very good.
It's
I'm not a big
delightful.
tequila person unless it's a margarita, so you got me at that.
Okay, well, I
Because
got
I
you
used
there.
to drink straight out of water bottles
All right,
back in college.
Yeah. We'll get to a little bit of the Phillies, and then we'll get to our top 5 first basemen, and then LA will be joining the program, and then we'll close it out with the Guess That Swing. So yesterday, not much going on down in Clearwater. The Phillies actually kind of had a half day of work and had the company golf outing. Which is pretty cool. I'm sure they had a blast. It was good to see Brandon Marsh out on the golf course. Knee wrapped up, but he is jogging. I think he's progressing to some type of either virtual hitting or live hitting today. But he apparently looks on course. But the big story out of the golf outing yesterday, Larry Boa, while playing with Trey Turner and Bryson Stott, sticks a hole in one. I believe he's 78 years old. Is that what it is? Or 68? No, 78, I think. Which is pretty damn amazing. Legendary Larry, as the Phillies tweeted out, just throwing darts.
He is 78.
78, throwing darts out there. So congrats to Larry Boa on the hole-in-one. I'm sure it's not his first. You know, that's pretty damn cool. And it's awesome that he's with Stott and Turner. Like the middle infield.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I like seeing those types of things. I mean, part of spring training, as we know, it's such a completely long season and long spring training. And so to be able to have a chance to have some fun and cut back and be able to just enjoy hanging and golfing. And I'm glad Brandon Marsh got to be a part of it. I mean, that's what we were talking about yesterday, that he was going to be able to join and also
good.
golf.
He was bouncing around on the course.
Yeah, one thing to be injured, it's nothing to be injured and miss all the fun of even the non-baseball specific things. So that was great to see Larry Boa put on a showa and hit a hole in one.
That's the second. Oh my God,
you didn't react the first time I said it.
I heard it. The trade with Turner, Stunner. What did you say? The Stunner, Turner.
I said showa the first time, but you didn't respond.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I just had to repeat the joke.
Okay.
It didn't stick the first time.
I thought you had a different variation.
No, it was the exact same joke.
No, I was just ignoring it because I didn't want to feed the beast.
It was the exact same joke. I just had to repeat it.
So if you were giving Larry Andersen
I felt like it got, a little bit overlooked. So I had to make sure it's
what would Larry Andersen's be?
His nickname?
Yeah.
He already has LA.
Yeah, I know, but pretend that doesn't exist.
Landerson.
Okay, you can call him Landerson today if you would like. But yes, fun times yesterday.
And your dad
at the golf outing. Now the Phillies tweeted out a video yesterday. I'm not sure if you two saw it. I assume you did. It was pretty funny. It was Orion Kerkering's live throwing session. Some were to empty batters boxes, and then some guys jumped in there. I think it was Nick/Jake Cave in the batters box. The Phillies video was pretty funny because they did the sound effects over it. It's been a while since we've seen Orion throw. Seeing that sweeper slurve, whatever the hell it is, again live in action, man, that's an exciting pitch. I really hope this kid is what the Phillies believe he is, because he could be a lot of fun. Potential closer, shutdown, end of game stuff. So this is going to be an exciting year to follow the Orion constellation. Yeah,
I mean, the angle of it was cinematic. It was beautiful to watch. It was like poetry. You could watch it over and over again. I mean, it definitely gives everybody a reason to be irrational, because you're watching it and you're like, this is some filthy stuff. But then it also was humorous too. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did see a clip of it. I watched it several times actually. I'm excited for Orion. I'm looking forward to seeing what Orion brings to the mound with a full season under his belt. Hopefully, it's special. Also, what's special is Spiral Out. Thank you. Landerson and Showa sounds like an old Sportsnet show. Welcome into Landerson and Showa.
Yeah. Other piece of Phillies news, which will bring me to my next gripe of the day. My old man yells at the clouds about TV technology in 2024. Colby Allard, our newly acquired minor league option, potential sixth man in the rotation, is going to start Saturday's game. Aaron Nola is going to get the return home to Clearwater. They travel all the way to Dunedin on Saturday, just down the road, to face the Blue Jays in the opener. So we're 2 days away. And then Sunday, I believe, I meant to double check my work. I believe because it's in Clearwater, you'll be able to see this one on NBC Sports Philly. I need to double check that.
I thought so.
I think so. So
I know Saturday's on
MLB Network.
Or on the radio.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
But, of course, LA's always fun. I don't know if he's going to be calling it or not, or if they have Kevin Stocker.
I still want to see it, though. I know nothing against listening
this
on radio.
brings me to my gripe.
Yes, go ahead.
Why is this so hard in the year of our Lord, 2024, to just watch every single freaking game? Why? So you can apparently watch Phillies Blue Jays Saturday if you have MLB Network, because MLB Network is going to be showing the Blue Jays feed. Now, NBC Sports Philadelphia, I think, is carrying 13 Phillies games. They're all limited to the home games because, look, from the business perspective, they don't want to pay a traveling crew to go all over the place, so they only do the home games. I get that to a degree. It makes sense. But, what if I want to watch De La Cruz play in a game that's not televised, or Griff McGarry or Mick Abel is pitching in a game that's not televised? I want to be able to watch that. So I at home am a Hulu internet cord cutter, Hulu TV. Here in the offices we're a YouTube TV. Neither have MLB Network.
No. No.
What the F, Renee? I just want to tune in Saturday and watch Phillies Blue Jays. Now I need to go find somebody that has MLB Network. So I need to go to a cable house because I can't even get MLB Network here or at home.
I honestly bit the bullet and bought cable back.
I'm I'm still saving
tired
enough
of all
money.
The apps. I mean,
This is outrageous.
First of all, if I have to scroll from app to app, how's it any different than scrolling from channel to channel? I've got the voice command remote. I just lazily will say in there, Phillies, bam, game is on. But overall, it's getting ridiculous. And I know in the chat you guys are saying
this economy?
money. Yes, it's all about money because at the end of the day, you have to pay for every single app. Unless, you finesse the system like myself and you have multiple people go in and you can each have your own login. But I'm not saying that public on the internet because, I don't know who's listening. But either way, it's frustrating that you can't just turn on your TV and watch the game. You have to figure out, okay, what app is it on today? Do I have that?
Tiresome.
Where can I go to watch it? It's very frustrating. It's definitely a frustrating time. Listen, I know in the chat I saw mention about the fact Aaron Nola got pooped on today by a bird.
Yeah, Matt Gelb with the big breaking story. Yeah.
Phones are down. What is happening in 2024 that we can't just turn on our TV and watch spring training or pick up our phone and shoot somebody a text message?
But Michael
because
Rubin
cell
and the
phones
Fanatics are
down.
getting dragged because apparently you can see players' penises through their shorts at media days.
Yeah, I did see. It is picture day today, and I did see people in our chat saying that too. The pants are see-through.
Who's going commando for the Phils?
That's a whole different
some jokesters
audience.
going commando today.
Jamie, they're trying to tap into a whole different audience, apparently.
There's a big penis market out there.
In. Yeah, I don't like it. It's just not I don't know. It's a lot going on here. This is not what I had on my bingo card to start off 2024, that we'd have all this chaos, cell phones down, people are tweeting out it's doomsday and everything else. But in the chat, you guys have a
Xfinity
lot.
Mobile's staying strong, though.
Well, yeah, it was AT&T that was the main one that was down.
I think Verizon as well. A bunch of them.
I was shooting texts out to people. I have AT&T, and I've been good so far.
buddy
I
sent the
think
link.
either that,
Or you just been on Wi-Fi the whole time.
My phone's extremely dry though.
AT&T,
so I don't know
Cricket,
if
Verizon, T-Mobile,
Yeah,
Boost, US Cellular.
I'm going to
Mint.
blame the fact that I have nobody texting me on the fact that cell phones are down. That's the real reason why nobody's in my, in my messages right now. But listen, Jamie, the chat is rolling. You guys have a lot to say. I can't even catch up on all of that, but just want to give a shout out.
Smash that
Jim
like button.
Kelly, Matt Deckard, of course, Chris,
John
Dave,
Cheeseborough. What
John
up?
Cheeseborough, because there's some others that have trickled in here.
Jarrett?
So your phones are working. Jarrett Heller, Jonathan Might, welcome back.
Jared
Mike.
got my line about the big penis market out there.
Oh my Lord.
Well, apparently I didn't see it. Is it
CMC?
Ohtani, the one that went penis viral? One of the media
Drake
day pictures.
went penis viral, but that's
yeah,
for
I think
other
Ohtani
reasons.
might have gone penis viral yesterday. So congrats
Oh,
on
my
all of his
Lord.
success. But it's good to see the Fanatics getting dragged for their jerseys. Do enjoy that. Now, Renee, I didn't see this note. Speaking of penises, Kyle Schwarber is a new father again?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
Extra dad power? Is that what
First
you're
of all,
saying?
I want to say, yeah, get out of here.
Guys, you know
listen,
how babies are made, right?
I do know how babies are made. Oh my Lord, Jamie, inappropriate. So inappropriate. This is why it's doomsday today. It's like just start it all over, send the flood, get these clowns
Congrats
out
to
of
the
here.
Schwarbers.
So the Schwarbers did have another baby. Didn't even know they were expecting. So his wife Paige gave birth to their second son Asher just a few weeks ago. So this is twice now that Kyle Schwarber had babies. He's got quite
Dad
the
power.
timeline. But both of his babies came around around the same time.
This guy is a consummate professional.
Both
he maps out when
so
to
his
have
first
babies.
child was
Atta
born.
guy.
Cade was born, and then 5 days later, Schwarber was in Clearwater, and now Asher was born, and a couple weeks later, Kyle was in Clearwater. He's definitely got a routine. But congratulations to Paige and Kyle because
Hopefully this baby sleeps. Let's not interrupt Kyle's sleep. This is a very
he's saying
important season.
He
Asher.
drove down to Clearwater and he was saying, I'm already used to this. He drove 15 hours from his house in Ohio, drove down. He's like, sleep, what is sleep? But it is a baby boom for the Phillies. That's always a really positive
There is.
thing.
The Wheelers, I think, are pregnant with their third.
We know Bryson
Stott
just had one in
his.
November.
Yeah.
The Wheelers, Nola.
Well, good playoff baseball makes people horny, Renee.
Well, I was going to go the
That's
other direction, that having babies gives people dad strength and makes them play really well. But that too,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, we're going a little different here.
Same ballpark. Different lanes, same ballpark. Joel Embiid became a better player once he became a father.
That's what I was going with. More of like the result of being a dad makes you play better versus on the other side.
Absolutely.
Like, okay.
Yeah, that's good. Congrats to the Schwarbers.
Yeah, we're
all right, we got to move because we want to get to a couple things before LA because LA is the best.
But we do have to move, Jamie. We'll be moving down to Clearwater in just not too long from now because the countdown is 20 days until our PHLY road trip. That's right. You guys can join us for our very first PHLY road trip. We'll be heading down to Clearwater. It's coming up very, very soon, less than 3 weeks away that we're going down. Now, the details, I just got the itinerary actually yesterday. Guys, if you checked your email, you got the itinerary also. It's going to be fantastic. Lots of fun that we're going to be having down in Clearwater. We'll be hanging, of course, with the legendary Charlie Manuel. It's been great to see him back out at Clearwater. He's walking, talking, looking great, doing interviews, speaking about the excitement being back around the team. Also, there's going to be a booze cruise because for St. Patrick's Day, there's a chance that you guys can join us on a private yacht for catered drinks and food, and that'll be a great way to spend St. Patrick's Day. And it's going to be a PHLY spring training takeover where we'll be able to watch the games. They'll cover everything. We're partnering with Philly Sports Trips. They're planning the entire experience, flights, hotels, game tickets, transportation, making it nice and easy for you. So head on over to our website, allphly.com/events to learn more and book your trip so that March 13th to the 18th, you can hang with us, have some fun, watch some baseball, and be down in Clearwater with us for our Philly Sports Trips partnership, I should say, as we're going to have our very first PHLY spring training takeover.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. And let me also, while we're here taking care of business, tell you about one of our new clients here at the station. We are so excited is on board with us, and that's Empire Today. You all know the jingle. Renee has it tattooed in her brain.
2-300 Empire.
You've been hearing it on TV your entire lives, and that's because you can trust them because they're the top at what they do. And fans, using empiretoday.com/PHLY, you can get $350 off new floors. That's $350 off just by telling them that, PHLY sent you. Use that website. With Empire Today, you get the shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Floors are like the lifeblood of a house. And, whenever you're looking at a house, you're always looking at the floors. And if you need an upgrade, maybe you're moving into a new place that needs an upgrade, whatever it may be, they keep shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. They just pick the best of the best, and they leave their selection to speak for itself because they bring you the best. It's not an exhausting combination of combing through all these different things that you don't know what you're doing. They have a virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space in your house. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off discount from us here when you use code PHLY as the promo code. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHLY right there on your screen for you today for details. All right, a couple more Phillies things. We'll see if we have time to get in the first baseman. I already think we're running behind on that, so we might do that after LA because
which means we're going over an hour.
Well, we don't have to. No, we can still do it. I don't want to keep LA more than 10 to 15 minutes.
And people, listen, Marvin Klein, what's up? Glad you're here. You are here in time for LA. We've got some others that are trickling in. You guys are right on time. Daniel, Kieran, what's up, everyone? But let's run through this, Jamie.
Drive us Fangraphs yesterday came out with their yearly predictions for F-War, and I wanted to buzz through it real quick because I know Tyler. Did you get the notification yesterday?
Oh, good Lord!
Your Fangraphs notification.
Here we go. Regular joke. Here it is.
I mean, look, I love it too. So Fangraphs yesterday. Here is the war prediction model for the upcoming year for the starting rotation and some of the bullpen. Leading the way, no surprise here, Zach Wheeler is projected to get a 5 WAR on the year from Fangraphs. Right on his heels, it is an even numbered year, so Aaron Nola should thrive this year. 4.8 for Aaron Nola, which is really, really good. So if he can give you a 4.8 this year, no surprise there. Anybody want to take a guess at who's third? Renee, you may have already seen it or have it in front of you.
It's
so
right
Tyler, why don't you guess?
I'm looking at the numbers.
Just starters.
All pitchers are considered.
Well, I know who the answer probably is. The answer who it should be is not the same as who it probably is. My guess is it's Taijuan Walker.
It is not.
Oh, interesting.
Taijuan is 4th.
Should be Ranger Suarez.
It is Ranger Suarez.
Oh, okay.
At 2.3 projected
There you go, Ty.
WAR. Taijuan Walker 4th at 1.8.
I just assumed that they were like, oh, this guy throws innings, and he won 15 games last year.
They probably took in the adorableness factor with Ranger,
Oh,
and that
there it
probably
is.
bumped it up.
Especially
from
once you see the curly top with
Yeah.
the hat on top.
Yeah, he's
and
sun-kissed already.
Oh,
Guy's
you're in
just,
love.
Yeah, he's just...
Good Lord.
He's just fantastic.
But it-
and then, this is
it's
pretty
love.
encouraging. Christopher Sanchez, now that you know kind of their scale a little bit here, 1.8 for Walker, 2.3 for Suarez. What do you think they project for Christopher Sanchez?
Probably like a 1.5.
A
Ooh,
1.7.
very close, Tyler.
Close. Christopher Sanchez, Jose Alvarado come in at 1.7, and then at a 0.8 is Jeff Hoffman. So those are your WAR
it.
projection leaders from Fangraphs. Now on the offensive side of the ball, you want to take a guess at who they got number 1, Tyler?
Actually, I would venture a guess because you immediately go Bryce Harper.
Yep.
But you venture a guess.
This guy's good.
Is it Trey Turner?
It is Trey Turner at a
at this
5.1. If you can get Trey Turner at a 5.1 level, that's a very, very good year for Trey Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, Bryce Harper, 3.7. Then we got JT Realmuto at 3.2. Bryson Stott at 2.6. Schwarber at 1.8. Brandon Marsh 1.7. And Alec Boehm at a 1.6. So there is your Fangraph projections for the year.
Well, listen, someone was commenting on our rankings for top third baseman, calling for Alec Boehm to be listed higher than Alex Bregman.
That would be spectacular, but I
That would
can't
be
do that
incredible.
in a sound mind.
I know, but for Alec Boehm and for this list in general, I should say, working through Boehm and Marsh are two of the names that jump out at me. I'd love for them to have, you know, an upswing this year in their numbers. If we can get a steady Bryson Stott, a full season Trey Turner, the way that we saw post-August ovation, makes you very excited about what this team can be. And then, of course, a healthy full season of Bryce Harper. It's great. It's very great. I like it.
Let's just get to our first baseman here because, you know, we have 7 or 8 minutes, and I believe...
What? Do you think we could crack this?
If we can't, we'll finish up afterwards.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
first base, there isn't as much debate as there has been with some other positions.
I got some...
I think there's going to be a lot of the same names here today. So let's get it started with first baseman, and then when LA joins, we'll ditch this and see where he thinks Bryce Harper ranks. So first baseman, I'll kick it off at number 5, if I can find my list here. There it is. I'm going to start off with a guy I hate. Everything about him, the team he plays for, his meathead attitude, his stupid nickname. I think they call him the Polar Bear. Pete Alonso, number 5. I didn't want to have him in my list, but I kind of thought I had to. So Pete Alonso, number 5 for me.
Pete is not on my list. My number 5, starting off with Christian Walker.
He was around 7 for me. He's really good.
Very, very good. Listen,
Gold
last
Glove
year at
winner.
3.8 WAR, he in his 157 games, a 123 OPS plus, splits 258, 333, 497. Walker has consistently and quietly been developing as a top first baseman in the game.
Local kid.
And did have his second successive season of 30 homers, 3 WAR, and as you mentioned, NL Gold Glove honors. So yeah, I'm going with Christian Walker, who's been seeming like he's trending, unfortunately, in the right direction with just the way he performed last year. 103 RBIs, 33 home runs. Number 5, Walker.
Hate the fact that I have to leave off one of my all-time favorite players.
Sorry,
and
Tyler.
a guy who not last year, but 2 years ago, won the National League MVP, but I have to leave Paul Goldschmidt off. He's 6 for me, and there's a reason that I'm doing it. But I am also, Jamie, going to start with this dude, Pete Alonso, 86 home runs over the last 2 years. I could see this guy closing in on potentially 50 home runs this season, over 100-plus RBIs each of the last 2 years. 131 led Major League Baseball in 2022. The average took a significant dip from 271 to 217, and despite that, he still slugged well over 500. The OPS was well over 800, and an OPS plus of 122 in what was a bad year for batting average-wise. 46 home runs last year. I expect a number similar similar to that this year. I believe he's in a contract year as well for the Mets. I would not be stunned if Pete Alonso balls out this year, and I hate the fact that I have to say that.
Oof.
All right, number 4, I'm going to go with the guy you just said you're leaving off, Paul Goldschmidt. It was, quote unquote, a down year for the MVP 2 years ago. A 3.5 WAR is a down year, much like Trey Turner, where if you're getting a 3.5 as a down year, you still got a pretty damn good player on your hand. OPS plus last year of 120, running RBI 80 plus on each. He can easily be that 90 plus on each type of guy. Still hit 268. His on base is 363. Paul Goldschmidt, still a really good glove. Still a tremendous first baseman. He's number 4 for me.
All right. So one of the top contact hitters in baseball, won the AL batting title. I'm going Yandy Diaz for my number 4.
That's Tyler's boy.
I know. He's got a 5.2 WAR last season, hit 78 RBIs, 22 homers. At a prime age of 32, where he was able to continuously just improve in all areas. I mean, the batting average alone that he's had, 330 split last year with 410, 522, 274 total bases. It's Yandy Diaz for, on the offensive side alone, what he gives you at that base pop and just that extra level that he provides.
Yeah, not a whole lot for me to add because my number 4 is also Yandy Diaz. And defensively, he's about average, maybe a slight step worse. But as you mentioned, he led the American League in batting average last year, a plus 400 on base percentage, and enough pop to keep you honest. 22 home runs last year was his career high. The 78 RBI was also his career high. And he only played 137 games last year, and he still finished 6th among American League MVP voters, a Silver Slugger for the first time. Not a whole lot to add from this list, Renee, because I'm also going Yandy Diaz, and I think maybe he even takes another step in 2024.
Number 3, I'm going with our hometown hero, Bryce Harper. I cannot, in good conscience, put him ahead of Matt Olson yet. That was what this kind of boiled down to for me because I think number 1's a lock across the board. Bryce, what else is there to say about this guy? His OPS plus last year was a 146. He had a 3.7 WAR in 2/3 of a season, coming off of major surgery. Still got over 20 home runs in less than 500 at bats last year. RBIs were great. On base was a 400. This guy could be your leadoff hitter. He could be your 3-hole hitter. He could be your 4-hole. You can plug and play this dude wherever. He is the epitome of a baseball player. There's a chance he could eclipse Matt Olson for number 2, but I can't do it yet. So I'm going to go Bryce Harper, number 3.
Well, I love the fact that in the chat you guys are giving your predictions for where you think, the top 3 guys are going to be. I actually, because we're giving our projections for how they're going to perform in 2024.
Oh, you're going to do it.
And taking the bait. I'm going Matt Olson, number 3. Obviously, last year, Olson set the Braves franchise record, 54 home runs in his second season. He's been filling the shoes of Freddie Freeman tremendously. 7.4 WAR, along with those 54 homers, 139 RBIs. Led the NL League in a lot of different categories, slugging percentage being one of them. Has done a fantastic job as a first baseman. Absolutely a top first baseman in the league. But in my projections for 2024, he's the number 3 first baseman.
Yeah, the Oakland A's can burn in the coldest portion of hell
Yes,
for moving Matt Olson and Sean Murphy
agree.
for nothing. I am going to agree with you, Jamie, on my number 3 because this is a conversation of is he a better first baseman or is he a better baseball player? And I think that is...
Bryce is a better baseball player.
That's the correct answer,
Yes.
right? But if we're ranking the first baseman, a guy moving to first for the first time, full-time in his career, it's really, really difficult for me to put him ahead of a guy that just hit 50-plus home runs and led the National League and, or was up amongst the National League in just about every major statistical offensive category. Bryce Harper is a freak.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that he's a human at this point. He's so good. He could play everywhere. If he wanted to throw an inning of mop-up duty, I'd probably let him. Putting him at 3 is not a disservice to the fact that this guy is moving to first base full-time for the first time in his career. Bryce Harper at number 3 for me as well.
Yeah, so number 2, I got the stinking brave Matt Olson. Kills it. First base is a loaded position with 3 of the top 5 potentially in baseball, all coming out of the NL East. Matt Olson, a 7.4 WAR last year. His OPS plus was a 162. I mean, his on base is a 389. Batting average is 280 plus, 54 home runs. I mean, a great glove. Like, screw this guy. And you're right, Tyler. fuck the Oakland Athletics for trading him and Murphy into our division for jack squat. We got Christian Pache from them. They got Matt Olson. Seems like a raw deal. But yes, Matt Olson is tremendous and unfortunately in the NL East.
Well, I think at the end of 2024, we're going to have a new top dog sitting at that first baseman spot because Freddie Freeman is my number 2 first baseman. Yes, and I'm not saying it's a hot take. I'm saying this because I'll get to why Bryce is number 1. But Freddie Freeman is my number 2 overall. 6'6" WAR last year. Listen, I know the talents of Freddie Freeman and absolutely his numbers and everything he's done. 29 homers, 102 RBIs last year. He had his first 2020 season of his career, hit 59 doubles, highest single season total since Todd Helton in 2000, tied for 7th highest all time. Freddie Freeman is also a freak of nature, very talented. It's not a discredit to him. It's just this is tough. This is very tough. But I'm going to go on a bold statement and say Freddie Freeman, for as great as he is, and even with the Dodgers, all the pieces they have, I think he's going to be that number 2.
All right, well, let's wrap this up just after LA.
Yes.
Let's get to our guests.
Good time to pause.
Pretty much we know who's going to be number 1 on that list, but we want to welcome in to the show in 1 second here, Larry Andersen. You know him from the Phillies radio network on WIP. You know him from a 17-year career in Major League Baseball himself. We'll have to get. I just learned of a new prank that LA pulled in his time in Seattle.
Yeah.
Somebody in our Discord asked him to, or us to ask him about. But he works with Scott Fransky. They're one of the best radio play-by-play teams in all of Major League Baseball. You know him, you love him. He's Larry Andersen. He'll be with us here in 1 second as we just sort out a little technical issue.
Well, while that's happening, let me tell you about the Game Time app really quickly.
Sure.
Because the Game Time app is a spot, especially as we're getting closer and closer to the season. It's time to buy tickets. You can see where you're going to be seated on the Game Time app. They give you a nice picture view of where your tickets are. They also allow you to make it easier just because you can download the app. You can browse through different concerts, comedy shows, games, all types of events, entertainment, sporting events, doesn't matter. The Game Time app has got it covered. And use the code PHLY to be able to get $20 off your purchase over at the Game Time app. Sign up today, download the app, and use code PHLY for $20 off.
All right, I already gave him the intro. Let's welcome him into the show. Larry Andersen, LA, what is up, buddy?
What's happening? How you doing?
So are you currently down in Clearwater, sir?
Yes, I am.
You a part of the Phillies golf outing yesterday?
I was there.
Okay, so you saw legendary Larry get the ace?
I was a unwilling, I shouldn't say unwilling participant. I was a uncontributing participant in the golf tournament yesterday.
Nice. So how is Florida so far? It looks like a lot of fundamentals are getting worked on this week. It's great to see Charlie back in the building. How has your experience been thus far?
It's been fun. I went up there yesterday, watched Nola throw live batting practice. He looked good. He and Wheeler, a couple others, they look like it's July for them. I mean, they came in, a lot of these guys came in, they're ready to go. And I think they're chomping at the bit, especially after the last 2 years, the way things ended, especially last year. I think it left a bitter taste in their mouth. They're like, we're coming in. And although there weren't a whole lot of changes, I think if you look at this team, how far they got the last 2 years, I don't think they need to make a lot of changes. I will say this, I don't think there's a lot of depth. But the talent they have right now, I think, is certainly enough to take it all the way.
Yeah, and Larry, you've been a part of a number, obviously, very successful teams, and something that stands out to me is a lot of those groups were, as you've even called them, the band of the misfits, guys that were maybe underrated or overlooked and came together and had the camaraderie, had the chemistry. What similarities do you see from this group compared to some of your past teams that you were a part of?
I think the biggest thing is, and I'd say this a lot, the camaraderie or the chemistry of the players. I think Dombrowski, David has talked to this a number of times. I think Middleton has mentioned it recently, that the guys that they bring in, they want to make sure they fit in, not just as a player, but as a part of the team, as part of the group, not taking away from what they have. And somebody asked me last year, somebody was saying something about Juan Soto. And I don't know if I said it publicly or if I said it to somebody privately, but I said, I'll take Garrett Stubbs over Soto. And people look at me and go crazy. I'm sorry. I don't see Soto as a team player. I don't. I I don't see him doing with his talent what he's capable of doing. I don't see him doing as much as some others. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I might be way off base, but like a guy like Stubby, he's so important to that team because what he brings. He just the energy he brings all the time. When things are going through the game, he's there. He's pulling for his teammates. You have to be really careful to bring people in that don't fit the mold that your team has right now. And that's the one thing I think the similarity is that these guys love each other. They have a great time. They have fun together. And I think it shows in the way they play. Obviously, the last 2 years, they didn't finish the job, especially last year. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they really pull for each other, and they're just a great team, a great chemistry, and great camaraderie.
LA, you don't travel as much as you used to, so you're not around as many ballparks. But I think Whit Merrifield's comments this week speak to just that. Like, he said word gets around baseball, not only the atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park, but how close this team is, how much fun they have. I mean, you've seen it before. Like, that can be the difference of a championship team and not. And I think Whit Merrifield saying that means word is out around baseball, what's going on in Philly.
Yeah, the unselfishness of what he said, like he mentioned that he could have gone somewhere else and been an everyday player. It's like, I'm at the end of my career. I know where I'm at, and that's one thing. He knows who he is as a player, as a person. And he's like, you know what? I want a chance to go deep into the playoffs. I want a chance to win a world championship. And for him to come here and say, I'm okay with moving around, with coming off the bench, with getting some sporadic play consistently, and to say that, I think speaks volumes about this club, and talking to other people that have been here or seen it and ask them what it's like, they're like, it's anything you can imagine times 10. And it is. It's the way the fans, the reactions, the way they've taken to this team has been phenomenal.
And firsthand what it's like moving. You're no stranger to moving city to city. I had to write this down. I couldn't believe 6 different cities in Major League Baseball across 17 years that you were a part of, 12 different cities in the minors across 9.5 seasons. And when you came to Philly and had a chance to play with teammates like Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton and Tug, what was that experience like as someone coming into Philly new compared to the previous cities you had been a part of?
In a word, intimidating.
Yeah.
I came from, and I talk to people about this all the time, and it's no knock on the guys I played with in Seattle, but I left Seattle. They bought my contract from Seattle. I was actually on loan to the Phillies AAA team when they bought my contract. I mean, Seattle didn't even want me in AAA, so I was okay with that. But in Seattle, Dave Edler was our third baseman, Paul Cerna at shortstop, Julio Cruz at second, Bruce Bochy at first, Rod Bulling catcher. I mean, these are not household names. If you get my drift, I'm not trying to dog anybody here. And I was a part of that Seattle team that wasn't very good. I was a part of it for 2 years. But to leave that and then walk into the clubhouse at 30 years old and already having some big league experience and walking in and seeing Schmidt, Carlton, Morgan, Perez, Rose. I'm like, what am I doing here? This is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the wrong place, obviously. I mean, that's how I felt. And then my locker, they put my locker right next to Tug, which was actually a blessing in disguise because he just relaxes you. He just made it fun all the time, which I appreciated. And so to come into that Philly clubhouse, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to be good or this is not going to go well. But it is in retrospect, looking back, one of the greatest thrills of my life, walking into that clubhouse and seeing all these Hall of Famers on the same team. And that's not counting the other guy, the guys that weren't Hall of Famers, Gary Maddox in center field, and Sarge in left field, Gary Matthews, Lescano. I mean, it was a good ball club, and a little older and a little longer in the tooth, a little older, but these guys knew how to play and they knew how to win.
So, Larry, integrating the youth with the veteran core in place, not everybody can be a $25 million player. The Phillies are leaning in two pretty big spots this year in center field and a high leverage bullpen arm, whatever you want to call him, in Orion Kerkering. Do you expect both these kids to step up because they're being counted on for big roles this year?
Yeah, I do. I think, and Rojas, I thought, I mean, a lot of guys didn't hit in the playoffs. I mean, they did at certain times, but then when it came to the end, like everybody just kind of tanked. And at the same time, and that was just unfortunate. It's not like they planned to do that or wanted to do that. But Rojas, he really struggled there, and I think he got exposed a little more for his inexperience. But during the season, he did a nice job. The one thing they said this spring, and I saw him, he bulked up a little bit, and I don't know. For me, that creates a little more concern if it's to get his energy, not his energy level, but it's just his overall everyday level. You know, to get that throughout a 6-month season is one thing, but to do it to try and hit the ball a little further. I mean, to me, this is obviously my personal opinion, but he should be bunting every day and doing everything he can to hit the ball on the ground, which goes totally against analytics. But if he's not hitting the ball on the ground, he's not utilizing his biggest asset, and that's his wheels, his speed. And so, I mean, I don't know what they're talking to him about, if they want him lifting the ball more or if they're, you know, they don't want him hitting the ball on the ground. It's baffling, but he's got that speed. If he can just utilize it, if he can put the bat on the ball, bunt the ball, hit the top of the ball, if it's not hit right at an infielder, he's got a chance to beat every infield hit out or every ball he hits in the ground. So I think and he's so valuable in the outfield. To have him in center just makes the world of difference defensively, which as a pitcher is what you want. Kerkering, I think, came up. He doesn't seem to be intimidated by the big leagues, but one of the things it just baffled me is last year he spent the year in the minor leagues, right, until he came up at the end. In the whole year, you know how many times he pitched back-to-back days? Zero.
Insane.
How do I just excuse me? I can't wrap my head around that. How they allow that to happen at the minor league level? And so the first time he ever pitched back-to-back days was in the playoffs. And then the other thing I talked to Rob Thompson about, I was like, why is this guy? He's throwing 97, 98 as his fastball. Why is he throwing all sliders? I did it because I didn't have a fastball. I didn't have a choice. I had to try and trick him with something else because my cheese wasn't going to get by anybody. But for him throwing 97, 98 and not using it, I'm like, how does that happen? And then they said that, you know, the analytics people said in the minor leagues, they hit, you know, 118 or whatever it was off his slider. I'm like, yeah. But you know what you just said where he did that? He did that in low A ball, in A ball, in double A. And he had maybe 2 games in triple A, if that. I think it's so important to understand that the minor leagues are vastly different from the major leagues. They just are. I think they're further apart. Triple A from the big leagues is further apart now than it used to be. Whether people believe that or not, I certainly do, because I see guys that excel at triple A, they get the big leagues, and it's just like, how do you do that down there and he's doing this up here? It's kind of baffling. But I mean, they're both guys, Rojas and Kerkering, I think are going to be big keys to this season. I really do.
Yeah. And Elliot, you're saying a lot of the same things and asking the same questions I know we've talked about here on the show. I'm curious to know, going into this season, what are the 2, maybe 3 key areas that you'd like to see the Phillies step up and make adjustments to have a successful year this season?
I think one of the biggest things is just consistency, knowing themselves and recognizing pitches, knowing what to swing at, what not to swing at. I think that a big part of, to me, we have one of the greatest slugging teams ever, but for me, one of the worst offensive average teams. We have guys that can hit the ball out of the park. We don't have guys that can hit the ball in play consistently. And the strikeouts were extremely high as a team. And I think that they can put up great numbers, but you have to put the bat on the ball. If you put the bat on the ball, there's a chance you can get on base. If you're striking out, you're not getting on base. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think this isn't up to the players specifically, but I think the health is going to be very important. As I said earlier, I don't think there's a ton of depth So it's vitally important that these guys stay healthy. And I think that's something that the club, the organization as a whole is looking at, is what they can do, especially starting in spring training, early part of the season, making sure that guys get their rest, that they're healthy, that they're strong at the end of the season. And I think that's probably the biggest key. The consistency and staying healthy, I think, are the two biggest things they have to think about this year.
Yeah, now LA, people know from videos of you throughout the years, you like to have fun, and you're a baseball player and you get it. Now, you said you weren't liked in Seattle maybe by the organization as much. I just read today about this Jell-O prank, which I did not know about. So for those out there that might not be familiar with you, you're one of the great pranksters, and you really enjoyed your time in baseball. What were you thinking pulling the bed out of the room of your manager? Can you please explain the Jell-O prank to those that might not be familiar with it?
But this might take a couple months. The Jell-O prank went on for about 6 months. But it started with Joe Simpson, who's currently a broadcaster with the Braves. He was our center fielder. Richie Zisk, who was our DH in Seattle. The three of us got together, and Renee Washington was our manager, one of my favorite managers of all time, because he was honest. Just, I mean, dead honest. And he would tell you to your face, you're not good enough. And he basically told me I wasn't good enough to come back to the Mariners in '83. But he actually told me in spring training, he said, you're going to have to, or in the winter before spring training in '83, he said, you're going to have a good spring to make this club. And I said, Latch, why are you lying to me? And he goes, I'm not lying. I never lie to you. I won't lie to you. I'm not lying to anybody. I was like, well, you just did. And he goes, how? And I said, you said I was going to have a good spring to make this club. And he goes, exactly. I said, no, that's a lie. He goes, how? I said, I'm going to have an outstanding spring to make this club, and you know it. And he kind of laughed, and he said, well, maybe. But anyway, he was just a great guy. But he liked to have his social sparklers now and then. And we were in Chicago, and he went out to Rush Street and kind of got in a little late. Well, in the hotel lobby bar, there was Lee Pellicudis was our traveling secretary, who later became their general manager. But he was our traveling secretary. He got a key for us to Latch's suite. So Richie Zisk, Simpson, and myself, we went and bought 18 or 16 boxes of cherry Jell-O. He had 2 toilets in his suite. We got the key from Lee. We get in the suite, put 8 boxes of Jell-O in each toilet, got buckets of ice, put it in the toilet, start stirring it, trying to get it to gel. We took his bed, put it in the shower, his mattress, I should say. We toilet papered his room. We took all the light pieces out, all the light fixtures out, the light bulb. And we took the mouthpiece out of his phone.
Oh, wow.
And we unplugged anything that was plugged in, we unplugged. So his alarm had like 11:01. So that's when he knew this is when it happened at night. He came home from Rush Street and just wanted to plop on his bed. Well, all there was a box spring. And then we had written some things in French on his mirror with soap. And so it basically became the great Jell-O caper. And it went on. We actually, for every road trip we had after that, he would have a bowl of Jell-O in his suite. A big bowl. Lee would set it up ahead of time. And so he just got going. And so we were in Baltimore one time, later in the season. And Dave Niehaus said, Latch, I think when we had Dave Niehaus as our broadcaster, Hall of Fame broadcaster, he was in on it. And he goes, Latch, I think I know what's going on with the Jell-O stuff. And he goes, I got it on my recorder. And Latch says, well, give it to me. He said, no, I can't. I got to do the pregame show and the postgame. So after that, I'll bring it into you. So it just so happened after the game, we won the game. Richie just got a big game, so he was the star of the game. So we said to Richie, before you do the radio show at postgame, he said, make sure you tell Dave to, come in the clubhouse and tell Latch that he lost you recorded over it or whatever. So after the game, Latch walks into the clubhouse and he goes, Dave Niehaus, come here. And Dave started to say something and just kind of shook his head like, no, Latch, I can't. And Latch blurted out, those blankety blanks got to you, didn't they? So he knew something was going on. So then we went to New York after that. We got where you used to be able to make up newspaper headlines.
Yeah.
Well, I had probably about 10 or 15 newspaper headlines made up. It said, Jello Gate tapes lost, latch baffled. It kind of just went on. And then at the end of the season, we made 3 of the big brown paper grocery sacks or bags, and made Joe Simpson kind of colored them in like they were Jello boxes. And the 3 of us put them on our head, and Latch did kind of a what's my line thing, or who, asking questions, trying to figure out who it was. He still didn't know who the 3 guys were specifically until after this team party at the end of the season. And that's basically how it unfolded.
That is a tight knit locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secrets were safe in there, I guess, LA, huh?
Yeah.
I love that you tell that story with a straight face. And honestly, I feel it makes me wonder what else happened, because I was reading and watching some past interviews and different things, and I know you mentioned I didn't know about the Jello story itself, but different things about the celebrations, the dance parties, jamming out to, High Hopes, Mitch Williams, aka Mitchie Poo, Sunflower Seeds, everything, the Spin Doctors, a lot of very memorable moments. And I'm sure, and I wish we had time to talk about them all day, but I'm curious to know, outside of the Jello story, what is something that stands out as one of the most memorable, it could be wild, funny, whatever, direction it goes, story from your experiences with these guys during your time in Philly?
1993, our number 1 draft pick was Wayne Gomes. He came out of Old Dominion. I was coaching in it was 90. He was our number 1 pick in 93, but I coached him in 95 when I was a player coach in AA. And he kept messing with me. We had the pitchers chart the games, and he kept breaking the pencils to go with the chart, to chart the games. So I called him Grimace. I had nicknames for all of them. I called him Grimace from the McDonald's, the purple thing. So I said, Grimace, you keep doing it, you keep messing with me, I'm going to get you. Well, he kept, the next day, sure enough, he breaks the pencil. I'm like, all right, that's it. Well, I got in touch with the Phillies organization, talked with Lee Thomas, our general manager, had him in on it, Gomes' agent, had everybody in on this thing. And Bill Dancy was our manager in Reading, and we had a meeting after a game. And he said, I just want you guys to know that Wayne Gomes has just been traded to Japan. And they had a crew come in from ESPN, the magazine, and they asked me to set this up. And they said, do you have a prank? Can you pull a prank, for the program? And I said, I'll figure something out. So this is what it was. He got on the phone, and they had a guy named James Chang, who was actually Korean, but and he had a microphone, had the mic that you plug in, he had it in his coat pocket, in his sports coat. So nothing was really happening, but they followed him around, and they said, well, they're doing a special documentary for minor league baseball for a Japanese company. And so they said they have permission to go anywhere they want. So he followed Gomesy around all the time. And then when he found out he was traded, he gets on the phone, he goes in Bill Dancy's office, the manager's office, he's calling his mom, he's calling his girlfriend or fiance at the time. And he's like, I just got traded to Japan. I think I'm going to Nomo's old team, the Yasuchuchi Massachusetts or something. And he couldn't even say what it was, but he was dumbfounded. And it went on that day throughout the workout and spring training. He's packing his bags. He's throwing his shoes to Larry Mitchell, who was his best friend on the team. Mitch is like, crying. He goes, I don't want your shoes. I don't want them. It got going. So I almost got to the point where I felt bad, just a little bit, but not a lot.
Just a little.
Almost.
So after all this happened, after batting, this was actually pregame, all this happened. And then after the game, Dance came in and said, well, you said, you want to say something, LA, and talk, just about what's going on. And I said, well, I appreciate what you've done for us this year, Gomesy, and I'm sorry you're not going to be here for the playoffs. It's just sad. I'm not going to miss the fact that you kept messing with me, kept breaking the pencils. And I said, I told you I would get you, and I just got you. And his grin went from ear to ear. He was already packed his bag. And it was the thing where he's going to have to leave in 2 days. So he's have to pack his bags, get home, pack all his stuff up, and be ready to head to Japan. And so that was that ended up being
It was
on
so
the
good,
show.
LA. They pulled it out on Kyle Kendrick a couple years later. So you were a ground setter in the prank game, and great stories. Well, buddy, I don't want to keep you forever because we could talk baseball all day with you. Yeah. We very much appreciate your time. Looking forward to you and Scott on the call back at home this year. We're 2 days away from baseball. It's a great time of the year. We love you, LA. The whole town does. Thanks for your time today, and we'll hear you on the radio real soon, pal.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoyed it.
Anytime,
yeah,
LA. You're the
Thank
best,
you.
buddy. The great Larry Andersen.
Man.
He is the absolute best.
My cheeks hurt from smiling and laughing.
I meant to tell him next time I see him, beer on me.
And I like the fact that he gives everybody nicknames.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's your kindred spirit
we're
there.
Connected. Those are some great stories. And
LA is, honestly, if you we have some great baseball icons that end up staying in this town. And Larry Andersen is absolutely one of them. Him and Fransky are the best.
And I know in the chat you guys are mentioning, first of all, a lot of laughter, a lot of chiming along, and you guys are talking about him coming back. We'll definitely have to at some point connect with him, whether on the show or off the show, as you mentioned, and connect with LA again because he's got stories for days.
Yes, he is the best. All right, let's resume our first base discussion as soon as Tyler is ready.
So hold on, we just went from LA telling amazing stories. Now we're gonna be like, well, my number two first
my
baseman.
number
We
two.
basically just have to talk about Freddie Freeman to round out the
pretty
list.
much was, I pretty
You're
much was
Bryce
done.
Harper. We're Freddie Freeman. Everybody knows where
I'm
we're
taking
going.
the gamble.
Yeah, but yes, again, thank you to LA. One of the best.
The best.
I'd like to get the more uncensored version of some of his stories over a couple beers one time.
I just like how he was so mild mannered about his stories.
Oh yeah,
that's what makes you a great storyteller, when you're not you can tell the details with a straight face and they're ridiculous.
And
details.
that's why him and Fransky, I know I keep harping on them, but they really are great. That's why they're such a good pair, because Fransky is a great steady man. Like he doesn't let LA's absurdities deter him, and he just kind of pokes and prods at him.
I will say
it's just
too,
such a good duo.
So we know LA is hysterical, right? He's a great storyteller, all this. Fransky's low key funny too.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Like his is more subtle. It's more like jabs, dry stuff. But I think Fransky's pretty low key funny too.
Oh, he is, absolutely. They are great. And LA now only does the home games. He's cut back on travel and all that. But if I was running the Phillies, I would say, hey, LA, whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah, literally,
man.
whatever you want to do, let us know. My goodness, he's a great guy to have around.
Yeah,
and,
so it's good. You know, he believes in
fantastic.
Rojas and Kirkering, and as do we all. I do think those two young guys are the true difference makers on this team.
Yeah.
If they step up and take their jobs and run with it, I think the Phillies are absolutely World Series contenders. If they struggle and go up and down and have the learning curves of youth, then there could be struggle points throughout the season.
Plus, their upside is just so high. I mean, these are two guys that are very special. We talk about Yoro as being that Gold Glove caliber center fielder. I mean, these aren't just pieces you're adding. These are tremendous young talents that really can change the game. So definitely, I agree with his points he made about the Phillies this season, about their group. And I'm interested to hear you guys as we wrap up our first baseman. We'll get to it. Tyler, now it's your time. We've stalled. What's your number two?
I think you're on number two. Yeah,
we're on two now.
Yeah.
All right,
you're two.
Let's.
I think we
pretend
know
like
where you're going here.
Yeah, I'm going Matt Olson.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any secret. And I know a lot of people in the chat were saying, well, he only had one really good year. And I don't know if I necessarily agree. I know the average was better. The slugging was better last year, and it's why he won his first Silver Slugger
He probably
award.
had his career historic year.
It was his best year, yes. But over the last 3 years, Matt Olson's missed 6 games in 3 years. Back-to-back years of playing every single game. His final year in Oakland, he played 156 games. He hit 73 home runs in his previous 2 seasons before last year. He added 54 more to that total this past year. 353 RBI over the last 2 seasons. This guy is freaking good. And I think that he was finally I don't want to say he was finally brought to the forefront of baseball because of the 50-plus home runs, but the fact that he almost feels like he was lurking in the shadows a little bit. I mean, 29, 36, 39, 34, 54 home runs over the last 5 full seasons for Matt Olson. This guy is a darn good ball player, and I understand if you want to put Harper over him, but as of right now, saying first baseman specifically, I'm going Matt Olson number 2.
Yeah, he's really good. All right, let's get to number 1. Mine, I think, is no surprise. I think Tyler has the same one. Renee is going out on
Yes, I am.
Respected limb saying Bryce will be the best, but mine is Freddie Freeman. I mean, outside his cohort on the right side of the diamond in LA, him, Ronald Acuna, and Mookie Betts are probably in discussion for the best players in baseball. He's two-time MVP winner. Probably could have been a 3 or 4-time MVP winner if it wasn't for Ronald Acuna and Mookie Betts. Oh, he only won it once. Oh, I thought he won it twice. I didn't have my notes in front of me. I was just free balling. But probably could be, you could probably make the case he's a 3 or 4-time deserving winner of the MVP. He's that good. He's Freddie Freeman. The guy's tremendous. Hits for power, hits for average, plays really good defense. What the hell doesn't he do? He's the best first baseman in baseball.
And there's a new sheriff in town,
And he looks like
guys.
Buzz from Home Alone.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Buzz Lightyear because I was saying there's a new sheriff in town, which is
I
Toy
can't get
Story
Buzz from
connection.
Home Alone out of my head when I watch Freddie Freeman play.
I know. I see that too, actually. A
Yeah,
little
he's
bit.
grown up Buzz.
Yeah. So there is a new sheriff in town is what I was trying to get to. And I do think in 2024, this is the year. Now, he has not even been ranked in the top 10 players for Major League Baseball. Freddie Freeman, of course, was. But my number one, Bryce Harper, is because we're going to get a full season of Bryce Harper at first base. I hear what both of you are saying. Freddie Freeman, this is no knock on Freddie or Matt or anybody else for that matter. This is more about Bryce Harper, who is a superstar athlete that has the ability to rise to any pressure, any level. Listen, I feel comfortable and confident saying that Bryce Harper has the capability of being the top first baseman because he's proven time and time again that he can answer the call. Bryce Harper last year, I mean, even after returning from Tommy John surgery, returning back, came in first base seamless. And we talk about the production. We haven't even had a chance to see what does it look like with him having a full off season of training for first base, a full season at first base, a full season healthy. Bryce Harper, if you can step up this season and prove that you deserve to be a top player in the league, but definitely a top first baseman, I think it's possible. You look at last year's numbers, 21 home runs, 72 RBIs. He played in just 126 games. Of course, missed the beginning of the season and came out strong. And I think he's going to shake up the baseball world. It's time to put some respect on Bryce Harper's name. He's one of the best in the game, and he's definitely one of the best at his position at number one. Bryce Harper, baby. Prove me right.
Vince agrees with you.
Prove me right. Yes, thank you, Vince. Prove me right.
Well, Vince, hit that thumbs up button when you're in here. Everybody else do the same. There you have it. Renee had the big ones, put them on the table. Said Bryce Harper, best
And
first baseman in
numbers
baseball.
aside, it doesn't even matter about numbers. Bryce Harper he's a different breed. He's a different type of a competitor.
He's one of my favorite
and
Phillies ever.
He has that mojo of like, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to switch. And I see him switching to another position. I already had the 30 for 30 planned out for his documentary.
If he gets
switching to first base, winning a ring,
if he
and
gets
getting
the
a title,
ring, I think he very much
this
will
is the
be in
time.
the discussion for the greatest Philly
this
ever.
year, 2024, is the year. Yesterday's Bryce is not today's Bryce, okay? This is the year that Bryce Harper, you like what I did there. This is the year that Bryce Harper is going to turn a huge
All right,
corner.
Stringer Bell.
All right, I'm done. Tyler.
Yeah, so you guys know when people use the phrase like merchant, right? Like foul merchant. It's
Joel
usually
Embiid is a free throw merchant.
It's a bad thing. Can Freddie Freeman be a doubles merchant? Because this guy over the last 5 seasons has led the league, the last 6 seasons has led the league in doubles 4 times. Last year he hit 59
Look at that buzz-ass face.
doubles. This guy is insane. 200 hits last year, 199 the year prior. And guys, one of the weirdest things for me is he's led the league in runs scored. He did it in 2020, 2021, 2022. 3 consecutive years led the National League in runs scored. Last year, he scored the most runs of his career at 131 and didn't lead the league in runs scored. Freddie Freeman is like just professional hitter exemplified. You want a guy who has a good plate approach. He strikes out about 100-ish times a year. He struck out 121 last year, and that was high for the last couple of seasons. A 330 average and over 400 OBP. Slugs almost 1 on the dot. OPS at 161 a year ago. You could be a numbers merchant. You could be a that guy knows ball merchant. And at the end of the day, I think regardless of which side of that, of the aisle you sit on, whether you're a numbers person or an eye test person, the answer is Freddie Freeman is the best first baseman in baseball.
Can you pull up a picture of Buzz real quick? And
He
thank you,
does.
Vince Pellegrini, for the super chat. What did he say there?
Renee is the smartest on the show.
Wow.
I will take that because you guys
Wow.
have disagreed with me on some takes, and this is one I can stand on with 10 toes down. Bryce Harper is a different type of animal. Listen, he does. I know K-Red is like, wow, Freddie does look like Buzz. He does look a lot
How
like
is nobody
Buzz.
like people didn't realize this? Like as soon as
Yeah.
he debuted for the Braves, I was like, why is Buzz from Home Alone playing Major League Baseball now? This is so weird. He's Buzz. Freddie Freeman is Buzz. I can't believe people didn't notice that.
Oh, man.
Buzz, your
I've
girlfriend.
never seen them in the
Woof.
same room, so hey, they've never been in the same room
Nobody
together.
knows, what Buzz has been up to these
But
days.
yes, Zach, what's up, Zach Garforth? Nice to have you here. Harper should have something like a 305, 310 average, 38 to 44 homers, 105 to 110 RBIs. Yeah, agreed. I like the fact that you guys are agreeing with me, but also this could make sense. And it's not just a homer take. I legitimately do feel
He certainly could.
Yeah,
It's going to take
for sure.
an acceleration of home runs and doubles to get there because of what Tyler just said. Like, he probably has to be that 285, 45
Yeah.
home run, top 6 or 7 in doubles type of guy.
But you know what? I think this year
Which
is
he certainly
primed.
can
But this
do.
year is prime. Here's the other thing that we have to look at. I know CMC, I appreciate it that you show it in the love and also disagreeing, which is fine. Here's the other thing that you guys have to keep in mind. This team, as we know, the position, the numbers, they're very important, don't get me wrong. But this team as a whole has a whole different level of motivation. And Bryce is one that I feel like really embodies that the most. Obviously, there's the frustration of the last 2 years. Bryce Harper's very, very desperate and thirsty for that championship. And I think this year is going to be the year they're like, listen, it's now or never. We talk about this being a win-now team, and in order for this to be a win-now team, it starts with number 3. So I could see Bryce Harper really putting the team on his back this year and just blowing a lot of these projections and everything out through the roof because he is so hungry. This team is so hungry for a title. It's going to take some special performances and a magical season. Starts with Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Bam.
All right, let's get to Guess That Swing, and we're not going to torture ourselves. We're just going to do it
Sure.
quickly today, Renee. And then I have to...
Larry Andersen.
I have to tell you my new player I'm pulling for in Major League Baseball because of his amazing belly. We'll get to that.
Oh.
But first, let's get to Guess That Swing for today. Now, Tyler, the difficulty scale is...
I would give this one a 5. I'd say right in the middle.
Okay. All right.
Oh, boy.
So we basically have like a week left of these.
We do.
Yes.
Thankfully.
So I know, Renee, you're looking
I've got
forward to the end.
I've got
You don't have
some
to
new
torture
stuff for
yourself.
us.
You can just fire.
I got some new ways to torture you guys on the show.
All right. So, Tyler, hit us with today's Guess That Swing. That's a lefty. Oh, no, it could be a righty with a really high launch angle. Damn it. Let's see here. The hands. It looks like left is on the bottom. I'm going to go righty. Is the lefty-
Again, is he facing us? My $1 million question I always ask, is he facing us or is his back to us?
I think his back is to us.
I'm
going to go righty.
I don't know.
It looks like the left. Wait, the left
Is
hand.
that the left leg forward or the right leg forward?
No, the left
The
hand's on the
toes-
top.
Look at the.
Or
See,
what-
I feel like he's facing us, actually.
I'm going to go with my gut and just go lefty.
We already
it
did
looks-
Bryson Stott, right?
Yeah, it
Yes.
does kind of
I
look
don't.
like.
It's giving.
It looks
some
like a
Stott
Harper
vibes.
swing.
Yeah, but we already did Bryson and Bryce,
It's a
and
nice
it kind of
looking
looks like
swing.
them.
I would imagine this is a home run swing.
That is a
We already
deep
did
swing.
Derek Hall. We did Clemens. We did Nick Wynn.
Is this a lefty or righty, Tyler? Please put us out of our misery.
This is a lefty.
Yeah, it's a left.
Okay.
We did. Did we do Schwarber? We did because he
Did
wasn't
we?
as chunky as I thought.
Oh yeah, he fooled us all. That was still painful.
Was Tommy here in 2006?
He was.
Was that his last
I
year?
think he was 2000.
Because Howard was Rookie of the Year in 2006, but wasn't Tommy still hanging on?
I think he was because I remember.
That might have been his last
He was
year
a-
here.
Yeah, I think he was.
This is tough.
We said this is a 5. $5.
No,
No free advertising here.
Jim Thome
I'm not
was,
gonna sing it anymore.
His final year in Philly was 2005 until he
Oh
came
wow,
back
that
later.
makes the fact that I guessed him a couple shows ago that
Are we
much
sure
more
that's not Bryce
embarrassing.
Harper?
I know. What the heck?
Lefty.
Wow. I can't
not
believe I
Jeff
said Jim Thome as an answer. Can you just give us maybe one more clue? Is this a current player or
It's not Ben
former
Francisco.
player.
No, I can't give you that clue.
Oh, dang it, Tyler. I thought.
Did we do? All right, I'm firing in. I don't want to take any more time.
Great American Ballpark.
It's good. It's a good guess. Always is. Oh, I'm typing the player's name. I don't have their
Let me drink from my
contact.
Hallmark cup and hope that I can get some magical powers. In my guess.
All right, I'm in. I don't feel good about it, but I've submitted.
I've submitted worse answers, so I'm just gonna go with it.
All right. So Jamie's answer is in. Renee's answer is in. You
Is there a
both
correct
came
answer?
to the same
Oh,
conclusion.
no, I don't like that.
As the same guest this week or this
The
afternoon.
vibes officer.
Have you
And
heard
it
of-
is your Chiefs vibes officer, Garrett Stubbs.
Hey!
I was gotta say, from the silhouette, that's a pretty looking swing. I would imagine that one went yard.
I feel like you got to dance because it's the DJ, Jamie.
I don't know. He has 6
DJ
career
Stubbs.
home runs. Do you think that
I think
one
Chris
was
No,
one
Paul-
of
one
them?
of it-
no, I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna
look,
lie.
he's
but
looking
actually,
at
that's
it.
why I thought it was Stubbs
Yeah.
because that looks like his one home run he hit this season. That looks like the
Stubbsy.
swing. Ooh, ooh.
All right, before we get out of here, my cohorts here, Tyler and Renee, have tried to shoot me down on sharing this because they think I'm fat shaming. No, I'm just respecting a belly because I respect a good fat athlete.
Oh, man.
I pull for the fat athlete.
I don't think that's a nice word, though, Jamie. I feel like we don't use that word. the
Chunky?
same way.
What do you want to call him? He's a fat athlete.
he's-
No. We're not going that far the other way where we can't call fat athletes fat athletes. He's a fat athlete. He's a former Phillies farmhand. I saw this picture yesterday, and I
I
was
feel
in.
like your tone's also making it mean. You're not
It's not
saying
mean.
it nicely.
If you know anything about me, you know I like fat athletes. I always have. I always will. There's something graceful about a fat guy being an athlete.
I don't think this is as nice as you think it is.
I think it's a perfectly
it's as
fine compliment.
complimentary as you
I
think
think
it is.
Sixto needs to work a couple 96-calorie Miller Lights in his diet, if you know what I mean. But here's the picture of the guy that was traded for JT Real Muto yesterday. He's throwing. He's back for the first time in a while. Sixto Sanchez. And just look at that beauty.
Oh, I mean, that's.
Look at that belly, Renee.
I don't talk about people's size.
Sixto is eating good.
Looks like he
Guys,
hasn't missed a meal.
it's not that serious. Yeah, he hasn't missed a meal. Some of the jokes online yesterday, 6-ton Sanchez, were really cracking me up.
Somebody's-
I mean,
Somebody's loved one, somebody's father, brother.
yeah, and I'm pulling for them.
He's giving dad bod for sure.
Oh, that is the ideal male body right there. So Sixto, you got a new fan in your corner, buddy. I'm pulling for you to stay healthy this year and get it done.
I just think it's the stance for me. Like the
That's a big belly.
classic, like big belly stance with the slight lean.
I have a belly, so I'm allowed to say these things. That is a beauty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
People in the stat know what I'm talking about. Sixto. Let's go, baby. I'm pulling for you.
People in the chat are like, it's glorious, shameful. Shameful, more like 12 toe.
Yeah.
6 toe is 6 months. See what you start? You guys are bullying.
No, we're
I
not
will not be
bullying.
a bystander for bullying. I
No,
don't
we're
tolerate this.
we're normalizing
We are
dad
What is it?
bods.
Zero tolerance? What is
Ideal
it?
male body.
What's
There
the-
it is.
what is it,
Sixto, go
Tyler?
get it,
I don't
baby. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. Give Sixto's belly a thumbs up before you get out of here. We appreciate all of you. John Foley down in Florida will check in with us tomorrow for his Fridays with Foley. He just put up a video on his Twitter account. We retweeted it from our account. A little update from Clearwater this morning. So make sure you're checking out John's work on allphly.com. Make sure you're checking out the events tabs. Not even if you can't make Clearwater with us. The Sixers guys are doing a takeover event. They have a remote broadcast next Tuesday over at the Chicken and Egg in Marlton. A lot of great things going on here at PHLY. So make sure you're checking out the website, checking out the events tab, and following John along as he lives in Clearwater for 6 or 7 weeks.
And thank you all for tuning in. Listen, bust your balls, do whatever you got to do. You guys, listen, body shame. We had LA on.
There's
We
no
did
body
first
shaming.
baseman.
We're respecting beer bellies. That's beautiful,
I also
Sixto.
like poking the bear with Jamie because he just gets going. It's really funny. But listen, all of you guys, we appreciate you for tuning in. As always, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button on your way out. Some new friends here, Jamie, today that got to join in on the fun.
Yeah.
And more fun tomorrow at 11 a.m.
And thanks, as always, to the man, the myth, the legend, Larry Andersen. You're the
Yes.
best, buddy. Next beer's on me when I see you. For Tyler, Renee, and myself, we will be back tomorrow, Friday, 11 a.m., as the Phillies play baseball in 2 days, which you can't really watch on TV, unless you have MLB Network and aren't a cord cutter. But have a great rest of the Thursday, everyone.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.